The Building Bridges Initiative team today held their 4th campaign rally in Kitui County. And ahead of that event, there were a lot of intrigues. And I knew from that time that we were going to witness drama in Kitui today. And indeed, we've witnessed drama in Kitui. The governor for Kitui, who was the host, Governor Charity Ngilu, kicked out Moses Kuria out of the podium. But there were demands from the public that Moses Kuria be given a seat to sit on. And Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka had to intervene for Moses Kuria to be allowed back to the podium. But why was Moses Kuria kicked out of the podium? And why did Moses Kuria and Kipchumba Murkomen arrived late at the venue and demanded to sit on the front row with Ngilu and Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka? What were their political objectives? And why was Ngilu forced to kick them out of the podium? I want us to look at all those factors. But before we do that, let us go back and look at the intrigues ahead of that event. The Building Bridges Initiative team announced that Kitui was going to host the 4th BBI meeting or rally for Ukambani on 1st of February. And the moment they announced that, Charity Ngilu, Alfred Mutua, who is the Machakos governor, and the Makwiny governor Professor Kivutha Kibwana, took over the role of organizing that event. Remember, initially, Kalonzo Musyoka was not very clear on whether he supports the handshake, on whether he supports the Building Bridges Initiative or not. So Ngilu, Kibwana, and Mutua took over the role of organizing that event. But because these events have political aspect to it, the Wiper Party, which is the dominant party in Ukambani, felt that by organizing this event on 1st, these 3 governors were going to run away with BBI from Ukambani. So they also announced another date, which was 8th of February. And indeed, another Building Bridges Initiative event is going to be held on 8th of February. What I don't know is whether that will be another Building Bridges Initiative, because that day, the BBI will be in Meru. And remember, Raila Odinga indicated today clearly that nobody will stop reggae. And he announced that from Kitui, they are going to where? To Meru. So I don't know whether that event on 8th still stands.
Akisimama kwenye station ya Kakamega kule Ingo, ikaenda kule Mombasa, bahari ya Hindi. Sasa imefika Kitui. Gari ya moshi inaendelea. Station nyingine itakuwa ni Meru. Kutoka pale itaenda Narok, itaenda Nakuru, itaenda Garissa, itaenda Nyeri, itaingia Nairobi. Kama umebaki nje, shauri yako. Gari hii itaenda na haina break. Inaendelea na itafika kule inaelekea.
Now, that's Raila Odinga announcing that from Kitui, the Building Bridges Initiative team will head straight to Meru. So those were the intrigues. And I once opined that President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga are actually favoring governors to oversee the Building Bridges Initiative. And that's a challenge for the Wiper leader in Ukambani. But why was Moses Kuria kicked out? Why was Moses Kuria kicked out? Now, this is what happened. In Mombasa, and I explained in one of my videos, in Mombasa, the organizers didn't want anything to do with heckling. And Hassan Joho managed the event so well until the time Raila Odinga spoke. Moses Kuria arrived at the venue together with, that is in Mombasa, together with Kipchumba Murkomen. And they were given seats. Although Moses Kuria created some drama by refusing to stand when Raila arrived. And I told you guys the reason why the Building Bridges Initiative principal, Raila Odinga, delayed arriving at the venue was because there were there were an unprecedented number of Team Tanga MPs at that event. So they wanted to make sure that it looks like Raila Odinga is the head or is the leader of that Building Bridges Initiative. So these guys were kept waiting. And they waited for Raila Odinga to arrive. And when Raila Odinga arrived, everybody stood up, including Kipchumba Murkomen. The only person who didn't stand up then was Moses Kuria. And in Kitui, these guys decided that they were not going to do that. They were waiting for Raila Odinga and the team to arrive so that they could disrupt the event. And because of the intrigues I explained earlier, there were people who were not supporting this Building Bridges Initiative event in Kitui. That's why even the attendance is not that much. The Wiper Party and Team Tanga were really against that event. They wanted it to flop. You have to give it to Charity Ngilu at least for pulling it. So because of those intrigues, when Moses Kuria arrived, Charity Ngilu knew so well that these guys had an agenda. Of course, they had been given intelligence that Moses Kuria and the Team Tanga were going to try and cause such kind of things. So Charity Ngilu was prepared. And they kicked them out because these guys wanted to achieve the following. Number one, Team Tanga wanted to disrupt the whole event. Because they could not disrupt Mombasa one, they wanted to disrupt the Kitui one. Because of those intrigues which happened before that event. They wanted to disrupt it, and that's why they arrived late. And after disrupting it, at least they shall have achieved their objective. And that's what Charity Ngilu didn't want. Because look, these guys arrived, instead of using the right route, they used the wrong route. And once they were allowed in the podium, the next stage was now they were demanding to sit in front. So why were they doing that? They arrived late. They're just members of parliament. Kipchumba Murkomen rightfully is a senator and a majority leader at the Senate. So he ought to sit somewhere. But he arrived late. And these are political events. Probably didn't even tell the organizers that he was coming. Even if he told the organizers that he was coming. So, I mean, have you ever seen in political rallies where seats are preserved for people who are not present? It doesn't happen like that. So they wanted to disrupt that event. And this is what Charity Ngilu now ordered the youth to stop. Number two, they wanted to create a narrative. And this narrative is that the Building Bridges Initiative is not inclusive. Remember, in Mombasa, they were allowed to speak. And the speeches in Mombasa not all of them were allowed to speak. As a matter of fact, even Team Keleweke members most of them were not allowed to speak. But Moses Kuria feels that he deserves the right to speak. He wasn't allowed to speak. Today, by the time of creating this video, Raila Odinga has already spoken, but I have not seen Kipchumba Murkomen speaking. So I don't know whether he'll be given a chance to speak. I don't know that. But probably these guys wanted to create that narrative that Building Bridges Initiative is not inclusive. Remember, today these guys had announced that they were going to hold a parallel rally in Nakuru. But because President Uhuru Kenyatta was mad with the DP, after summoning him, these guys cancelled that rally. But their objective still remains clear, that the Building Bridges Initiative must collapse. Number three is that these guys are keen on organizing parallel rallies. And that's why I'm saying on 8th of February in Wote, Machakos County, expect the Building Bridges Initiative team not to be present because they'll be in Meru. But expect Team Tanga to be in Wote. And they'll be in Wote with Kalonzo Musyoka and the brigades. And that's how politics is playing out. So because they announced yesterday that they were cancelling parallel rallies, but they'll be attending Building Bridges Initiative events organized. Of course, there were those organized and already, plus the ones they've organized. So Kitui one, they're going to attend because Kalonzo will be alone. So they're going to attend that to show solidarity with Kalonzo Musyoka. And because Charity Ngilu had all this prior, he could not allow them to disrupt that event. Number 4 is that these guys are keen on getting or gaining the limelight from these events. That's what they want to do. In Mombasa, Kipchumba Murkomen, out of his speech, got enough limelight. Today, I'm sure Moses Kuria is going to get the limelight because of that incident where he was ejected from the podium. Organized people demanded that he be allowed back, and indeed he came back. In the next few hours, you'll see Moses Kuria making post after post on Facebook, showing Kenyans that indeed people love him. And because of what happened, the limelight today in that event is basically going to be on Moses Kuria. And that's what Hassan Joho stopped from happening. Hassan Joho ensured that such kind of drama did not happen in Mombasa. Because if it had happened in Mombasa, it would have taken the limelight from the entire event. And lastly, these guys are keen on sympathy. They want to get sympathy. You saw how Moses Kuria was being roughed up. You see how he was being frog-marched. What is the aim of that? Sympathy. In Mombasa, you saw how Kipchumba Murkomen was speaking. And after that, remember, we had a Mombasa rally on Saturday. Sunday, these guys had a meeting. And on Monday, they were in Naivasha for 2 days. And what they were trying to tell people is that in these BBI rallies, you must swear the name of somebody. You must talk about somebody. You get? And basically, because of that, they are getting sympathy from Kenyans. And that's why in their messaging, they are saying certain things which are not possible. For example, the percentage of revenue share they are advocating for cannot work. But it's populist. They don't want people to talk about corruption. They don't want people to talk about electoral injustices. They don't want people to talk about form of governance, which is the basis of electoral chaos in this country. But they want people to talk about coffee, something they can deal with in budget and parliament. They want people to talk about tea. They want people to talk about sugarcane. Well, all these problems have persisted when they were deeply in government. In fact, personally, if you ask me, the economy of this country collapsed long time ago. It collapsed in the second term of Jubilee regime, when Uhuru and Ruto took over. And corruption, the moment they took over, corruption took over the country. And overborrowing, we overborrowed. And Kenyans cannot sustain those. Kenyans are overtaxed today because of the injustices and inappropriate economic moves by the Jubilee government. But because these guys were serving those governments and they were benefiting from them, they don't want people to talk about them. They just need sympathy now. I don't know what you think. But from where I am, I think today's hero from the Building Bridges initiative is going to be Moses Kuria. It's going to be Moses Kuria. And although those youths roughed him up and he was subdued and sat down, I'm told by one of my friends who was there actually, that Moses Kuria is heavily drunk in Kitui. Probably that's why he sat with alikuwa Miketi. But he's going to be the hero today. I don't know what you think, but from where I am, the Team Tanga Tanga guys today in Kitui have managed to outwit the organizers of that event. I don't understand what was so difficult in allowing these guys to sit on the podium. I don't understand why Charity Ngilu could not hold her anger. Of course, you can be angry because that was her event. I don't know why Moses Kuria could not just be allowed to go there, even if possible, given a microphone to speak. I don't know why they stopped that. But today, Tanga have scored. They are going to brag about it. Thank you guys. And as usual, if you're bumping on this video for the first time, I want you to just take a minute. Sorry. I want you to take a second or two and hit the subscribe button now so that next time we produce a video like this, you get notified. And to the subscribers, I want to continue to thank you guys for your continued support. Without your support, this channel would not be here today. I was away 2 days and the messages were just too much, but I'm fully back. I'm fully back. And I hope you are enjoying this video. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day.